Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. Windshield time. Second time I've shot this. The first time I went way off the rails. Of course, it's unscripted and I'm driving. You know, we've got a lot of issues in our country right now, but I'm going to focus on the pendulum swinging back towards liberty and freedom, which is a really good thing. Right now, we just recently came across my Facebook a First Amendment auditor, a cop watcher in New York, got $1 million judgment in March. I know it's 2 months after, but I didn't hear about it till now. He got $1 million judgment in March. He was falsely arrested, and the police officers were caught on audio recording planning how they were going to falsely accuse him, discussing how they were going to bribe the DA to charge him. And they went through this. So the guy got paid. Now, typical in a situation of police misconduct, the officers suffered no consequences. They don't care. They're not the ones paying the bill. I think that there needs to be an adjustment made. Okay? The qualified immunity for police officers needs to go. A police officer needs to be accountable to his victim when he does something illegal and harms them. The idea that the officer may not be accountable doesn't make sense. Now, should an officer have to put up with 1 million frivolous lawsuits? No. No. And I don't know where that happy medium is. I think that if you can show a prima facie case that the officers violated your rights or went beyond a policy or did something illegal or morally repugnant, maybe then you can get an order lifting qualified immunity. I don't know. That's not what the law is, and I typically deal with what the law is, not what it should be. But today we're talking about what it should be. Because situations like the one in New York happen all the time. Now, there's got to be a training component. Look, police officers are human like everybody else. They're going to have a bad day. And by and large, most police officers are good, honorable people who care a lot about the communities and the places they live. They care about helping. They care about doing good and supporting people. They're not out looking to violate rights and cause problems. However, there are a few, and that's in any population pool. Law enforcement, lawyers, judges, priests, clergy. There are always a few people who do bad. And I don't care what population pool you pick, there will be a few. That's just human nature. So, what do we do? How do we handle those few? Because law enforcement has proven largely incapable of policing itself. And that's a fact. I'm sorry, but an assault by a police officer is an assault. You know, him being counseled and getting 2 days off, or, you know, being retrained on use of force isn't acceptable to the victim. Okay? A $60,000 paycheck, the attorney's taking 40%, by the way, isn't acceptable to the victim. So why do we allow that to have a system of laws that apply to one but don't apply to the privileged class, the police officer? And I'm not talking about anything specific to my area. I'm talking in broadest generalities. that will certainly be proven untrue if you pick a specific instance and cherry pick one out. They're out there. I know there are cops that have been held accountable and that have been sent to prison, and that is both appropriate and just. However, there are also many instances where they are not. For example, the city of New York it was either 2017 or 2016, I forget which, spent more than $200 million settling lawsuits for police violence and other illegal acts by police officers. $200 million. Now, that's a large organization. Things happen. But if you're in the $200 million range for lawsuit settlement, folks, you have a culture problem. Okay? That has to be fixed. And the way that gets fixed is you decimate the ranks. You go through and you remove anybody that has ever had a problem. Okay, you got to change the culture. Now, you're not changing the culture of NYPD without literally going through and removing a lot of people. How do you do that? Well, you got a real problem, because if you take all the police off the street while you're fixing the police department, New York runs amok. So, yeah, it's easy to say, and there's no easy answer. Do you say going forward we won't tolerate this anymore? Okay, fine. And when you do, and the police department tolerates it, covers up for it, hides it, as they have in the past, how do you go about that? I mean, how do you handle it? It's not an easy answer. And that's one of the problems that a lot of activists and auditors they may intellectually understand, but they don't really grasp and they don't communicate, because there aren't easy answers to these issues. It's very easy to treat the symptom and say, fire that guy. And of course, you know that they're not going to. So you're protesting, you've got a pointless objective that's not going to happen, and you're going about it in a way that's most designed to harden your opponent against you. Yeah, it's an exercise in futility. So where do you go to get, or how do you go to get where you want to go? Man, if I had all those answers, I would not be a rural attorney, driving 40 minutes to get to court. I'd probably be banking somewhere, living off the royalties from my answers. So, I don't have them. But perhaps it's time we start asking better questions. Thank you.